Omówiono najważniejsze sprawy związane z dalszym rozwojem poezji.
He's smoking. I'm not even doing that.
Hey everyone, this is Tim and the Haunted Hill House crew. We got a bunch of people joining us tonight. So I'm very excited to be, doing this live show. It's been a while since I've been live, but due to the pandemic and everything else, it feels great to be back. And I'm so excited to be, starting off these new shows again with Kathy over at the Haunted Hill House and all of her folks over there. But you want to say hi?
Hi everybody. Hi Tim. Welcome back to Haunted Hill House.
Yeah, it's been crazy. So we did an episode over there, and it aired about 2 weeks ago, Kathy?
Yes, and it just aired on the 1st and the 2nd. I think it has one more airing. Is that the 8th, 6th or the 8th, something like that.
Yeah, and it was quite an experience for me as an investigator, and also it was a privilege to be out at the house, and I heard so much about it over the past couple of years, and finally got the opportunity to go out there and experience it myself. And I have to say it was a little bit more than what I asked for, but we captured some amazing evidence when we were out there. So I am really I want to get back out there and investigate it again. We've been talking about doing that, but yeah, tonight we're going to be talking about the show. I'm sure a lot of people in the chat have questions about what happened, and yeah, I thought we'd start off with Kathy talking a little bit about the house and how you acquired it and how you got involved with this haunted house.
Yeah, the house does have that effect on people, so they become addicted. Let's put it that way. You come once and then you want to return, of course, many times. A lot of our customers are repeat customers, and they come regularly and they have experiences, and each time is different. Sometimes it's more intense, but they always have good experiences. So my husband and I, of course, are paranormal investigators. My first investigation, I was 12 years old. I actually went with my church youth group, went to a Lutheran church in Connecticut, and our youth group leader took us to the Green Lady Cemetery, and we camped out there. Of course, we debunked it. It was some kind of mist, green mist, but I think it was something to do with the granite headstones or something, or limestone headstones or something like that caused it. And of course, I've had experiences throughout my childhood. I saw spirits as a child and had, imaginary play friends, but they were actually ghosts. And then I met my husband, and we both had experiences in our personal life with the loss of our fathers and witnessing our fathers' apparitions and visiting us after they'd passed on. And so we started doing ghost hunts and going on the ghost walks and visiting haunted locations and trying to see what we could capture. We've had a few great experiences, but nothing like what we experienced here. When we first got the house, we saw like an apparition of a little boy in daylight walk up the stairs, and we heard voices, and like that's like gold in the paranormal, and we saw it with our own eyes in broad daylight. So we were like, wow, we've never seen or experienced anything like this in the 30 years I've done this. Nothing like this, nothing. And it was just continuous, it wasn't just like, oh, bam, there's apparition. But it's like, 30 minutes later, this is happening. 30 minutes later, this, it was so much. And you could just feel it, like the house was calling us. And we found out it was calling us. We actually, supposedly Sam Bass's gold's hidden here. So I started digging in one of the fireplace, and we found a burnt up newspaper behind this fake wall, and it had our name Estes on it. So we knew that this was supposed to be our home. And but my husband, I think he could tell you a little bit about his experience, why he decided. Sandy, you want to come over and talk?
I just have a question before you guys go into it. I know, like, for me, when I purchased the house in Pennsylvania, I felt like as if I was called out to the house. Did you guys think that you guys were called out to the house, or like something called you to purchase it? Yeah.
The way that we found out about the house, I mean, we used to go to Jefferson, to a lot of locations out there, and we met a paranormal group down there that showed us a picture that they took of this house like in 2015 or 2016. And it was 3 children in the carousel room, 2 little boys and a girl. And we always wanted to come here and investigate the house. And we never got the chance to, but yeah, definitely when we came here to look at the house, the spirits showed themselves to us. And they wanted us to be the next owners, I believe, because they showed themselves, and we heard them speaking while we were here audibly. And, we've been, like my wife was saying, we've been to many locations, and yeah, we've heard some talking, and I've seen some orbs, but I've never seen a full body apparition in any other location. To be here just in 30 minutes of time and see that was amazing. So I think that they also, oh,
There's the REM pod.
REM pod's going off?
Did you see the REM pod going off on the piano?
Yeah, well, it went off right when I said they wanted us to be here.
That's amazing.
Did you guys want us to be here? Did you call us? No, they don't want to answer me. They don't like me. But yeah, so whenever we got the house, of course, we had seen these wonderful things, and so we showed up with cash. I mean, 2 days later, we were that serious because we knew after all these years of doing this, there was nothing like this in the world that we have witnessed before. And so, we were serious buyers. It was kind of like we came here on a whim. We didn't really expect much to happen. But after we got the house, we realized how intense it was, when I had a wheelbarrow lifted up and thrown at me. Mm-hmm. And I called my friend psychic Maria Santos, and I said, Maria, what the heck is going on? I had a wheelbarrow thrown at me, and it was an industrial size, and it went 3.5 feet at me. And she said, Kathy, what did you think? You bought a haunted house. I said, well, I thought I was going to see orbs and catch EVPs. I didn't know that this stuff is real, that I thought that was stuff that was, fake in movies and stuff. I didn't know that they could really do these things. And so now I do. And the things that we've experienced here are unexplainable. I mean, totally unexplainable. And you, of course, witnessed that as well. And so I wanted, there goes the REM pod again. I don't know if you guys can see that over there. Yeah, there we go. You can hear it at least. Tim, you want to talk more about the show? I want everybody to hear about, I sent you the picture. I don't know if you got it, but I want everyone to hear about that mark on your neck.
Yeah, it was a really crazy show for me as an investigator, and also personally. Lots of times when you're dealing with with a location that has a certain type of energy, it seems to communicate with you even before you get out there. And one of the things that I noticed, like in retrospect, as when I got back from the Hill House, was that a lot of the EVPs that I was getting when I was filming for It Feels Evil, when we're at Yorktown, we're talking about the Hill House, which at that time I didn't even know I was going to be even going out to. So that's pretty crazy. But yeah, the house was very interesting because I took a really different approach, which really wasn't showed that much. I was showed a little bit during the show, as much as I could, but basically what we did is Paul, Robert, and I, we basically went into the house as skeptics. I mean, we weren't really expecting, I mean, I wasn't really expecting that much to happen. We got there and we did a walk through of the house, and I'd heard, Kathy's story, and she, right off the bat, seemed like very sincere to me, and you could tell that she was experiencing stuff, so that really got my attention. And we went through the house, and there's a REM pod again, but we took baselines in every room, and first tried to see if there's anything that could possibly be made up. Lots of times people will put things in these locations to make them seem haunted, to make people think that they're experiencing activity. We couldn't find anything. We went through each room of the house. There was nothing fake about it. We took baselines, and shortly after that, we went up to the. I was really eager to go up to the attic level because Robert kept telling me about all these experiences that he had in the house, and Robert is the minister. And immediately when we got up there, I could tell that he was just being affected by whatever energy was in there. And immediately at that time, we took some EVPs, and we got some really loud growls on our recorders. And he just got really wigged out. And I've worked with clergy before, and you don't really see that much with clergy being affected by a presence. So we went back, and we later investigated the house. And one thing as an investigator that really stood out to me in terms of what happened right before I got scratched was each of us, as seen in the episode, had different pieces of equipment, and I wanted to see as the activity increased if our baselines would change. And Robert was in the attic, and I was in this room called, I believe it was the Axe Room. Kathy, is that? Yeah. And Paul was in, I forget the name of the room, but it's the wood room. And we were investigating, we were in there, and I just felt a change in the room that I was in, and started running some audio. Right at the point where I started running audio, Paul had said that I heard some chatter on the walkie. I guess he had got something, and Robert up in the attic immediately got like a 10-degree increase in the temperature, and that's when I got scratched. So we had 3 different events happen in 3 different rooms. Paul had picked up these kind of words on the obelisk, and one of them was portal. And he, up to that point, hadn't gotten anything on the obelisk. So everything kind of correlated together with me getting scratched. And I guess the reason why I was in that room, which they didn't talk too much about in the episode, is I think a lady was scratched on the leg. Is that correct, Kathy?
I'm sorry?
A lady was scratched on the leg, I guess a couple nights before I was investigating.
It was actually right underneath her arm, she saw a hand come out of the bed.
Yeah.
And she wasn't asleep. She was just resting at around 5 in the afternoon or in the evening. And
Yeah.
she saw a hand come up out of the bed, and she screamed, and it scratched her. And then her friend came running in, and also Dr. Jim Clausen, and they watched the welts form on her, on the side of her. So yeah, that happened shortly before y'all. And then of course, before you came, I had gotten a concussion from something that happened here. And you know, I remember you telling me about what occurred the night before you got here.
It just gets weirder and
You want
weirder.
to talk about what happened the night before you got here?
Yeah, it just gets weirder and weirder. So we did, actually, I live streamed part of that investigation. We went to a hospital when I was out there. Another investigator that I know that lives out in Texas, Bonnie, we went out to a hospital out in Texas that was abandoned. And there was another couple of groups there that were doing like a public ghost hunt. And a sensitive just randomly walked up to me and said that I was going to meet the 7. And 7, for whatever reason, keeps popping up at the Hill House. Don't know why exactly, but it keeps popping up. So that was kind of ominous to do that. I mean, to hear that. And yeah, it's just a little weird, you know, when someone randomly walks up to you and says that they're going to meet the 7, and then you ask him later what he said, and he didn't even recall that he even said that to me. But he said it in front of like 3 or 4 people. Yeah, in front of 3 or 4 other people.
I remember when you came there, came here in the morning when we were doing some B-roll and interviews, and you had told me and my husband that, and we had told you that the family that lived here before claimed that they had played with Ouija boards and summoned 7 negative entities into the home. So the number 7 made sense to us, but the marking in your neck was a Roman numeral 4. And if I recall, you guys left at 9:30 p.m. So I don't think you stuck around long enough to meet the 7.
No, and I wanted to. It was kind of funny. The production crew was so freaked out at that point, they wanted to get the heck out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember Sonny had to actually come in and help load some equipment.
Yeah. Now, what's interesting is I actually have an EVP from the, and how this all connects together, you guys, is when I went to Yorktown, I got an EVP that said I was going to meet the 7.
Wow.
Yeah, so I can post that later up on Twitter, but I've played it before for people. But yes, 7 kept coming up.
And that was a year before you came here?
That was a year before. Yep.
Was it a year to the date, or just?
No, it was in May of 2019. Yeah, that's when we filmed that.
Now,
yeah.
I don't know if this is correct, but I was told that there was a threatening recording or EVP towards Paul.
Yes. Yeah, and I sent it to, I can post it later, but it was when we were up in the upstairs portion. And I think they, from what I understand, is they don't want anything, it really spooked out the whole production crew. You know,
well,
a lot.
They had to protect Paul and
Yeah.
make sure nothing was going to happen to him. Do you remember what that said?
I think I have to go back and look at it, but I think it was something like "I'm gonna get you," or I mean, it was
Choke
it,
Paul.
yeah.
I was told to choke Paul.
Yeah, it was something. I have to go back and look, but it was when we were upstairs in the attic and we were picking up EVPs. Even when I was with, like, off camera, when the people were like roaming around, Sonny, Robert, and I were upstairs, and Sonny like felt a cold spot, I believe, in his arm. You know, he started showing us his arm, and his hair on his arm was sticking straight up. I'm not sure if he remembers that, but I pulled out my recorder and we picked up some EVPs right then and there.
and you could hear the spirit say something.
Yeah.
It said, next to Sonny. It said next to me. Something.
Yep.
We couldn't make out the very beginning, but I heard it say next to Sonny right at the end.
Yeah. And it's very like, it's very, yeah, it was a very interesting experience. But yeah, one other creepy thing that happened to me personally, which I thought was really weird, is the day that we were shooting the investigation, my grandma died.
Oh, no.
And what was really strange too is when we shot, it feels, yeah, I hear it, it's crazy.
Tim.
Do you want to see if we can ask if the seven's here?
Can you, are the 7 here? Is this,
It said it was.
is there somebody here to talk to Tim? Are you here for Tim? Not doing anything.
There's a weird audio thing that came through on my end.
What did you just have?
It's just like a weird sound. I'm not sure if they heard it in the chat, but
Earlier, just a little while ago, I actually heard something come through while y'all two were talking.
That happened to you and I?
Yes.
You heard growling on the
Yes.
phone after someone was possessed here and we were on the
Mhm.
phone with her. We heard, yeah, while
Yeah.
on her end, we could all hear it. It was really weird. We've had that happen a lot while we're talking to people from this house that we can hear something on the line with us. But I wanted to ask you, you know, I've told people that we have had priests here and shaman and all kinds of things. And then after they've come, like all hell breaks loose in the house. It gets worse. And so you have a video clip that you wanted to show with this is the door right here behind Martha. And I don't know if you wanted to get to that point, but we have the people here that were present when that happened.
is this the one with the person being pushed?
Yes, pushed.
Okay.
Yes. And
Yeah.
but that was after you guys left. I
Yeah.
mean, we had 2 possessions, and you know, I'm glad that we have people here that, you know, have the ability to cleanse and get rid of those things.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we were able to control the situation, of course, but this was after you guys left, and I know you guys were praying outside, and I don't know what was said or prayers inside. I know you said several prayers, but every time we have some form of priest or minister here, and that's what happens. People get hurt afterwards, and it's usually shortly after they leave, or they'll come to our house and mess with us or our grandchildren or animals, and that's why we tell people not to come here and do cleansings or anything like that. We've tried, Phil's tried, and you know, we've tried to calm it down, but it's like we're offending them, and it's like we're causing a problem to them, so they're going to come after us for doing it. And so we just choose to, you know, try to keep it calm as much as we can without provoking. But Lindy is here. I don't know if you want to show that. This is Lindia. And
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Lindia. I'm gonna. So you were present during the pushed video. I'm gonna go ahead and just play it.
her and Ryan.
Okay. Hey, Ryan. The REM-POD's going nuts.
Yeah, the REM-POD is going right behind us. Yeah, we were here filming The House That Goes Through Hell.
I'm gonna go ahead and play this here for
Okay.
everyone. Let's see here. Hopefully, I think I'm on the wrong. Let me go back here and see if I can. 1 second here.
It,
It was New Year's. Anyway.
yeah, I showed up on January the 30th, a day before everybody. And then production crew and everything, because we're getting ready to film our documentary and tell the story of this house. Because I really felt the need that this house needs to be, the story needs to be told. Everybody needs to see that this house is alive. So, I mean, it has so many layers to it. And so we decided to start filming and everything. And it was just one experience after another. We came in with a production team of 13 people. And by the end of January 1st, there was only 3 of us left. And that was 2 possessions, people getting affected left and right. It took an emotional toll on a lot of us. Another team member literally got pushed out of the portal room door, which is the video that you're going to show.
It's just pretty crazy, like seeing this.
So basically, you know, we have a team member on the outside of the door and a team member on the inside. We actually had our own DVR camera on the inside of the door as well. But basically, the guy on the outside door is listening for the questions, and he said there's the first question, there's the second question, and right about after the second question is when we heard an extremely loud banshee yell through the house, and he comes straight out of the door. He gets pushed right out of the door.
Yeah,
What was the question he asked, Lindia?
Is there anybody here? And then it was just simple. Is there anybody who wants to communicate with me? And right after he said, is there anybody that wants to communicate with me? That's when the banshee yell, or the really loud, disembodied female.
What did it sound like, Ryan? Can you imitate it for us? Come on, Ryan. Come on, Ryan. What did it sound like?
Something like that. I was sitting there and I was like, what the hell was that? Then, boom, out the door.
So you guys saw Ryan's face is the one when you show the video that's looking in like, what the hell is that?
I wanted him to go back.
So are you guys frightened? I mean, are you, like, looking back, are you frightened by what you experienced, or?
Oh, I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
I wanted it to happen again.
No, I was frightened for my team members, if anything. You know, a lot of the people on my team are junior investigators. They really don't have the experience and experienced anything like this before. So, you know, I was more concerned for their safety. So that was where my fear came in.
He was freaked out.
And I mean, it really tore up my heartstrings to see him. I mean, I've never seen fear in someone's face the way I saw in his. So, yeah, it scares me sometimes, but not to the point where I'm ever going to retreat from this house, because they're, you know, I need the answers.
What do you guys think is in the house?
Well, I've literally been here twice when the seven's been here. To the point where I've almost been affected. But
Fair to say. Yeah.
yes, confirmed. And the other time, it almost chased me totally out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I must say that one night, Lydia was here and we were doing a tour. She came upstairs with me to do the tour. I think the 7 or one of the 7 was there that night.
They were all
Because
there.
we were up in Emily's room and I've never heard it before. It sounded like a 6-foot bat, or like a vampire was in there and started flapping its wings. That was wicked. And everybody in the room heard it. And then we went into Toby's room, and next thing you know, Lindy is saying that she feels a burn on her back. She had one scratch from the bottom of her neck all the way back to her, like her,
Straight down my spine.
like pretty close to her butt crack. And it was a long, I've never seen one.
What was at the bottom of it?
And it looked like the upside down cross or a cross at the very bottom of her butt crack. And she was like, take the picture. And I said, no, my wife will kill me if she sees this on my phone. But no, it was really, that happened the same night. And I've never, ever heard anything like that. It really sounded like there was a 6 foot, 7 foot bat or
And
I don't know what else to say.
I literally, Sonny was sitting by me and I'm just sitting here crouching and crouching and crouching because it felt like the wings were like engulfing me. I mean, literally, I felt it behind me. I even told Sonny there's something standing behind me. REM-POD goes off. SLS picks it up. And right about that time is when I got the scratch. And I was trying not to scare the group. So I kept my composure. And as soon as most of the group got up and walked out, I told Sonny, I think I've just been scratched. My hands have been in front of me the whole time, so everybody knew I didn't do it. And I couldn't have because it was straight down the center of my spine.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a pretty frightening experience that night.
Do you have you have the wings, Tim, right?
I do have the wings. Yeah, I'm going to show them right now. This is a full spectrum photograph, but I wasn't there. I didn't take it, so maybe you could.
You were present during the wings. He's got the picture of the wings.
The picture of the wings.
And the purple, the big wings that were upstairs in Emily's room. You know the picture. You were there. I don't know if he's got it pulled up.
Yeah, I got it pulled up right now. It's a full spectrum photograph, I believe.
Remember the wings?
I don't know if I seen the picture, honestly.
I thought you were there when someone took that picture.
I don't remember that picture either.
But that's one of the wings. I remember it.
Yeah.
No, but that was really wild. But you know, you asked what you believed in this house. You know, I always tell people that we've always gone to locations and we've never looked for negative or demons or anything like that. But it's really weird when we bought this house, when we would be walking through the house, they would be saying devil, demon, Satan. And you know, I honestly thought the spirits were talking about us. Maybe they think that they're still alive and that we're dead. Until one day we got an EVP and you hear a spirit say Satan, and then you hear it respond, and it was wild. It went, yes. It sounded like a snake. And at that moment in time, I just couldn't, fathom what I was hearing. That was crazy.
It seems like every time that Seven or Satan or something, the REM-POD, yeah, it's going off. Yeah.
Yeah, we came here thinking there was child spirits. That's what we were told. We weren't told about these bad things till after we bought the house. We didn't come here seeking, and we tried to keep it quiet for years. We didn't want anybody to talk about bad things, and we were afraid people wouldn't come here if they knew about these things, and we wanted people to experience paranormal activity, but we didn't want people to know there was bad stuff here, and the cat got let out of the bag. But we have Martha here, and let me tell you about Martha. Now,
can you tell us about yourself and how you became acquainted with the property?
Well, Maria Elena Santos, a good friend of mine, is the one that had me come here the October after Kathy and Sonny bought the house. There was an event, and that's when they were telling me the history that they were given when they bought the house. There's been so much more found out since then, and part of it was talking about all the scratches in the scratch room, and that's where the skeptic in me, the detective in me, I try to come in unbiased with, you know, no preconceived anything and just see what happens. And when she was telling me about all the scratches in the scratch room.
We were at about 70 at that time, right?
Yeah, and I was, you know, I'm being nice and polite, but in my head I'm going, yeah, right. But this is what Phil gave them. So we were acting like docents that night, and they were doing a tour with somebody in every room. And I was in the scratch room, and I watched at least 24 people get scratched. I'd have guys go, "Can I ask?" And they would put their hand out. But most of those scratches were, you just watch a red line form, like one guy from his elbow to his wrist, and they would just form, but there were no welts. However, there were some juvenile delinquents that came through that they had thought were with parents, but they weren't. And they got scratched going from the X room through the passage to the scratch room. And then they got scratched again in the scratch room, and they had gouges that night. I also watched a deputy came to ask some information, I think that same night, and she got jerked, she got scratched, gouges, and she got kicked. And then when she's driving away, there's people out in the front waiting for their turn to go through the tour, and they all heard rocks being thrown at her car as she drives off. And I'm a retired law enforcement, retired cop, worked for this. I was a detective, assistant chief of police, negotiator and instructor. And then I went to work for the state as a child death investigator. So I have over 20 years of crimes against children. And I don't think me being law enforcement has affected me like it has other law enforcement people. Greg Lawson, who was a detective in Bexar County, which is San Antonio, things happened to him all night when he spent the night alone here with his dog. He had a cadaver dog he brought, and Greg and I are friends. And unfortunately, 2 years later, his dog suffered PTSD from that experience that night.
Still to this day.
Yeah, still to this day. I talked to Greg about 6 months ago, and the dog still hasn't got back to the way it was. So I use all of that. I also was a journalist. Before I was in law enforcement, I was a journalist, and so I take all of that when I do something. And the book that I had that's just in
Paranormal
an
Profiling.
ebook now, Paranormal Profiling, was one that was done to help people who'd never interviewed anybody before. It's for, if you're going to go talk to a client, what kind of questions, what to look for signs of deception. And because I've encountered people who want their commercial business to be classified haunted. And I have a paranormal team I founded in 2007, East Texas Paranormal, and they'll want us to say it is so they can make money off of that. Most of the people that call me, I'll get calls for really serious cases, and most of the time they're not at all. There's usually something that I can explain what's going on. So that's kind of my background.
Now, Martha, so based upon your profile that you've gathered from this house, why do you think it's experiencing activity on the level it is?
Well, I'm still working on that because I've been working with Kathy and Sonny on the book about this house, and it seems like there's so many layers. The more we dig, the more we find. This is the Oak Island of mineral wells at this house, and so they're all building. And I think there's maybe something with this land long before the house was ever here. Plus you have the running water, you have the wells, you have limestone, you have a lot of things here.
Flint, granite.
That could escalate. I've had Kathy, the day I was scratched here and I was bitten, I didn't notice the bite until several days later. I happened to be out in the sunlight and I could see the indentions from the tooth marks, and it wasn't a human bite shape. But there was another event going on here when I got scratched, and it was raining outside. I'd been outside, and I went and sat down, and I thought I had water on my arm, and I go to rub it off, and it's like, that's not water. And I had blood from it was like something had taken a fingernail, say, and just peeled my skin back. And so I had blood dripping down my arm, and I never felt that. I never felt it when it happened at all. And, I have pictures of it after the fact. I didn't think
And
to
it's
take
scarred.
bloody arm photos, but there were quite a few people in here that saw that. There was probably about 10 people in the room when it happened. And then when I came through, there was a lot of people in the kitchen, and everybody saw the blood drip. And, and I'm not scared when I'm here. And that's probably my law enforcement background, working in rural policing. A lot of times you don't have backup, you are your backup. So I've had to deal with a lot of extreme situations on my own. So most of the stuff that happens here, I don't even acknowledge it. But I've been, growled at, hissed at, the piano's played, doors have opened, doors have closed. I've heard stuff audibly. So there's quite a few things.
And the loudest growl in the world.
Oh, yeah, I stayed here for 3 days by myself. And I wanted to experience life, on a day-to-day basis if I was living here. I did no investigation whatsoever, and I was kind of documenting, when I heard things, and everything was pretty much residual until about 11 o'clock, 11:30 on the second night. And there was I can't even really describe it. Hiss, growl.
I know what it sounds
That
like.
scared me. It's like-
It was
like that.
Yeah, and it came from upstairs, and it like shook the house. It was so loud. And
Scratch or something.
And I get up, and there was a cloud. I was in the kitchen when it happened.
I just
And,
captured a picture.
Show me.
That's
Lindy had just took a picture into.
I felt something ice cold just rush up against me. So I decided to take a selfie behind me. And as you can see, you don't see anything there. So when you go and blow it up, there he is.
What? I don't see anything.
Right there. I don't know if y'all can see it on camera or not. Yeah,
It's pretty hard.
I'll post it in. I'll send the picture later to everyone.
So, one of the themes.
It's the lighting.
Yeah.
See, you could see.
I can see a little bit of our face. Yeah.
One of the
So Martha, you were here, Martha was here when I was choked,
Okay.
in the act room, and I woke up with my shirt tied and not pulling and choking me.
That's
That was
crazy.
the first
Yeah.
time I was choked.
How many? I know you've said it in the past. A lot of people have been scratched at the house. I know you're keeping a record of that. How many people have you?
We're at over 400 now.
That's insane.
It was 70 when Phil had it. However, we're here regularly, and we've done a lot more investigations than Phil. We've had about 10,000 people here. So, Phil was very afraid of the house, so he only opened it up when he felt like it. And if 2 times a month, 3 times a month, he did not care to be here. He was definitely afraid of the house. So, we're here a lot. So we've experienced a lot, and we've had a lot of people here. And so we've been able to document it, of course, because when people, and those are the ones we've documented that we've witnessed or got photos of, or people have called us, said I just got scratched. There's a lot more that we have, not documented, that maybe people didn't know that they got scratched, or, didn't want to tell us they got scratched, and then, like you said, there might've been some that people did to themselves, but
400 is a lot, and I know most of them I've personally seen, and they were,
No, I couldn't dispute it. It was, yeah, happened in my presence,
Now, the show that we did, I mean, together, the Paranormal Declassified, its main theme was portals to hell.
Right.
And does it concern you that this house could be a portal for these types of entities to, attack people, or like what's your?
Well, I don't believe it's just a portal to hell. I believe there's also a portal to heaven. I believe that there's multiple portals, multiple dimensions, and it also depends on what you seek. You seek evil, you get evil. When you seek good, you get good. And we find that with people that come here, that people that don't come here seeking evil don't experience those things. And then the ones that come here seeking it, or they bring it with them, or they bring in negative energy, that's what they get. But I believe it's more than a portal. I believe it's a pathway. And that's what my neighbor was, a shaman. And he told me straight off the bat, this property is a pathway.
It is a spiritual highway or a train stop or bus station for spirits to travel. That's how he explained it to me. So we have good angels. We have bad angels. We have people that come here and their loved ones come with them, and they talk to their loved ones in the home. And I think it's an amazing experience to sit there and witness somebody, to speak to their lost child or their lost husband or their father or mother, and they get to have closure. And they know it's them because they know things that nobody could possibly know. And it's their voices too. And, so there's good things here as well. There are bad things here, yes.
No.
Do I?
Yeah.
Not always. No, not always. I would say if we had 7 overnight investigations, they're probably here 3 out of the 7. 3 nights. If we were here 7 nights a week, they would be here 3 nights a week. Depending on the crowd of people that come and what their intentions are. If they've got negative intentions, they're bringing negative vibes, then the negative stuff's going to show up. Or if they ask for it and call upon it. If you don't ask for it and call upon it, it's probably going to stay away. We've had some cold spots and REM-POD going off, but we haven't had any growling or anything like that tonight. Because we're not trying to communicate with that stuff.
Now, Kathy, one of the questions that they were asking in chat, does the activity happen at all times during the, during the day, or okay?
Yes.
Yep.
Something can happen in this house every 30 minutes if you were walking around and you're in the right place at the right time. We do have increased activity in the morning. 8 and 9 in the morning is a high peak time for activity. You have the one video, I don't know if you showed that yet, of the girl. That happened at 2 in the morning.
Yeah, we'll show it right now.
Yeah, that one right there. That was, I think, at 2:11 or 2:12.
Yeah, in the morning. Now, this lady was just like pulled pretty violently off the bed.
Yes,
it's pretty.
We had a scientist analyze that.
Yep.
And he out of Tennessee University. He watched the video 500 times. And you can even watch it yourself and see the energy and the force that comes with, pulls her out. She said she felt like she was getting sucked under the bed. Because of that, he said that there's no human force that could have done that. Now the room is small. Nobody's blocking the cameras. The room is a small room, and you've been in there yourself. You know that anywhere you stand, you're going to block something.
It's very small. There's no way. It's very small.
We were lucky that we were able to even catch that or see that. These people had never been to a haunted location. They came here. The lady that got pulled thought that we were overhyping the house. So they were provoking and trying to get something going. And I guess they got what they came for.
Yeah.
They came here trying to stir stuff up and encouraging. You want to attack me? Here I am. Come get me. And as you see, they got her.
Now one thing I think is really cool though is, I mean, you guys get a lot of poltergeist activity as well. I've seen videos where I think there was one with a doll. Its legs were moving. That you guys caught in the security camera, and there was this video that showed the door latch actually moving up, and then the door opening, which I thought is like a pretty, it's pretty amazing.
So what happened was we had 1111 Paranormal here. Johnny and Shelly, they were a couple at that time, and I don't think they're very experienced at that point, and they decided to stay the night alone in the house. And this happened actually in the morning. We came in the morning to bring donuts, and they were pale as ghosts and shaking. And they were asking me if I'm real. Are you real? Are you really here? Are you a real person? And I had to literally let her touch my hand. They were in a state of shock. She said that they heard like pots and pans banging in the kitchen. So then they ran into the axe room, and something tried to beat the door down. So they locked it, and they tried to run out the other side of the room to the bathroom. And it started bashing the doors open and shut back there. So then they stuck a chair up underneath the door, and they sat in the bed, and they had tripods set up, because they were setting up to see if they can capture something, while they were sleeping. But this happened in the morning, and they caught it. And I knew by the state of mind they were in that they didn't fake this. I mean, nobody could have looked the way they looked. I mean, like I said, they were pale and shaking, and I mean, it was, I don't know, I thought they were on drugs or something. It was so bad when I got here. They weren't acting right. And so we looked at the cameras in the hall as well. They didn't rig nothing. It was nothing rigged, and they would have done it at nighttime, not in the morning, if they were to rig something.
They said that it was really quiet, and then they went to go to bed, and then it was like somebody was awake, and stuff started going crazy in the kitchen. And that's when all that happened to them. But
yeah, we've got a video where everything gets thrown off of this piano right here. That was during Halloween time. So I wouldn't necessarily call this poltergeist activity. That I would not call poltergeist activity. Miss Yeager was a Christian woman, and we had put all kinds of scary Halloween decorations on the piano. And when we came in, and we have this video, everything gets thrown off. Well, one of our followers had actually watched the video and screenshotted. You can see a spirit come from this door right here and go all the way over into that door to the Shadow Man room. And then the picture starts flopping. Well, we zoomed in on the mirror and we took a screenshot, and it is Miss Yeager's face. And the apparition's face and that picture matches her face 100%. So Miss Yeager was angry that we had put the Halloween decorations on her piano, and she didn't approve of that. And so whatever went after Shelly and Johnny, it could have been, did you just hear a door open?
Yeah.
The door just opened back there, guys. We just heard a door unlatch. So let me explain a little bit. Now, Shelly had just started dating Johnny, and she had a fiance that had died years before, and she had come here to talk to him. So, I mean, that could have been him, for all we know, angry that she was with somebody else. So I wouldn't really say it's poltergeist activity. I would just say that there was a spirit that was harassing them and torturing them and scaring them for whatever reason. But I wouldn't really call it poltergeist activity, nor would I call what happened on the piano poltergeist activity. I think that, yeah, the wheelbarrow, no, that was the Shadow Man. He was mad because we were having the house re-leveled, and they thought we were tearing the house down. And I think that he was trying to stop, what we were doing. And they thought that we were here to destroy the house. They didn't understand we were here to fix it, and they didn't want us to tear their house down.
Do you think a lot of the activity is attributed to this figure that you guys keep capturing, who you refer to as Toby?
Yes,
This is an amazing photograph, by the way. Yeah.
I'll just go ahead and tell you, his name is Osmodeus. And he's one of the ones that was summoned.
The 7.
He's the 7.
Yeah.
I don't think that, I know he knows how to scratch and bite, and he can look like us and sound like us. I don't think that he does the possessions, no. He's not the one that does that. But we're not afraid of him. He growls and runs his mouth a lot. But, I mean, it's fun when he does it, really it is. It scares the crap out of people. Sometimes it scares the crap out of me, but a lot of people, Sonny, sometimes, it's really neat because between, it's around 8:20 p.m. every time I do a tour, Toby's in here and you can hear him very audible, and it's amazing because he showed himself in that photo and he showed his hooves outside in the snow. So I would think that there's some kind of code of conduct on the other side where you're not, they don't like to be recorded. I know that. They don't like to be recorded, but we're able to capture his voice. We're able to hear it audibly. We're able to capture his photo of what he looks like. And so he's not afraid to show himself or who he is. And he's not afraid to communicate, you know, and so I think it's interesting to be able to come to a place like this to do research even on, you know, on something like that. And that's what this place is for people to research, you know, entities of all kinds, good spirits, bad spirits, to get knowledge.
And sticking to that, I mean, I have to say that you guys provide the perfect platform for that, because it's just amazing. Like, I have to say, you guys are, you guys post up so much evidence on your webpage. And not only that, but you guys have security cameras running 24/7, which I think is absolutely amazing. So whether you're an experienced or you're not experienced, it's really set up, the whole house is set up to document the phenomena that is occurring in it. So I just, you know, you guys did a really good job with that, and it's something you should be proud of.
They're like, you know, we'll show them how to use the equipment, we'll tell them the history, and we'll give them ideas of what to do and what locations, and they're like, are you gonna record this for us? I'm like, no. You came here to collect your own evidence. That's what you're here for. You're here to capture things for yourself. I'm not going to do it for you. I'm going to show you how to do it, and then you're going to do it, because that's what people want. They want to come here to experience things and show proof that they experienced it, and, you know, so they can believe. So I'm not going to stay here all night with you. Of course not. I'm not staying the night in this house. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I get in the freaking camper. I've had people try to pay us to stay in here. It ain't happening. You're going to stay in here. As long as you can last, you will stay in here, and you're going to document, and you're going to capture evidence. And that's what's important. Yes, we have cameras going. Yes, we have an active house. But not only that, but it takes time, and, you know, spending that time and the enthusiasm and the wanting, you know, to learn and know, and wanting to see these things. There's people that are not, they just in it to capture something and get famous, you know, that's all they care about. My husband and I go through so many EVPs, so many videos. We are constantly researching, and that's how we're able to capture these things, is the time that we spend that people don't do. People don't take the time to review their evidence. And then when people leave here, I always tell them, go back and listen to your EVPs. We're going to listen to what we've captured, and we'll send it to you. But you need to do the same thing. You need to listen, and people will, a year later, oh, I've got EVPs from your house from 2 years ago I haven't even listened to. Well, no wonder you didn't capture any evidence. You know, you didn't put in the time because you don't care that much about it. But we care, and it's something that we love. It's our passion. And
that's what separates you guys from a lot. I mean, it's not just the activity that's happening in the home, but I think it's that you guys care so much about, you know, documenting these experiences and really giving people, I think, an opportunity to have those, you know, too. So I hats off to you guys for doing that. Now, how can people go out to the house and is the house is available for overnights, correct? Or tours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. You can go to hauntedhillhouse.com or you can call me at 817-884-7152. We do overnight investigations. We don't have any weekends till May. We're now booking into August. But there are a few weekends in May. Now, for a weekend night, that's per night. It's $500. And you're allowed up to 10 people at that price. We provide snacks, drinks, coffee and donuts in the morning. And then we also provide a large amount of paranormal equipment, all the latest in technology. And then we have, I would say, almost 40 cameras total? With our blinks, yeah, about 40 cameras total. The home is about 3,500, 3,800 square foot Victorian mansion. There are 18 areas to investigate, 5 rooms to sleep in, and 4 bathrooms. And we also provide the history of the property. And we teach you how to use the equipment, and then you will get the property from 8 p.m. to 9 a.m. in the morning. And then on weeknights, it's $400 for a weeknight.
What better way to celebrate? It's like for me, it's like going to Disneyland. It's like
Yeah.
I mean, for me as an investigator, but it's you guys have a great location, and it has a tremendous amount of activity going on right now.
Thank
so
you. Well, we've done this for so many years, and when we opened this place, we were thinking, what would we want? You want to go somewhere where you don't have to bring anything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I forgot this, I forgot that. Oh, we got batteries. You run out of batteries? Oh, we got batteries.
Yeah.
You need a flashlight? We got a flashlight. You need food? We got food. You need a drink? You need some blankets, pillows? We even got toothbrushes. You need toothbrushes?
And the bathrooms work.
They're new. We want people to be able to come here and do what they came here to do and not have to leave to go to the store to get this or get that. We want you to be able to focus on investigating because we want you to be able to capture evidence. And we enjoy it. You help us to learn. Otherwise we would have to be in here every night and we wouldn't have a family life. So by other people being in here, and other people get different experiences than we do and bring different energies in. And so we start to learn, what attracts them to this person or how, what this person's experience is because of this. So it's like we're learning. It's a scientific research to us is what it is. And it's amazing. Did you have any questions for anybody here? Martha or Ryan or Julie?
I think what I would love to do is like when we go out there in March, if everyone that's on right now could possibly join in for an in-person interview. That would be great.
They can all come here.
Yeah, to do like an in-person interview, I would love that because it would be. I think we'd be able to really get into things, and I hope this isn't the last time that we talk. But I hope it's in March we can all get together and do a longer interview. I think it would be great.
Yeah, and especially if you have Lindia and Ryan here.
Mm-hmm.
It gets crazy when they're
here.
People get thrown. Stuff happens when they're here. These are the two you want. Now, Martha is the neutralizer. Don't want Martha.
Not necessarily, because when Martha and I are together, we seem to get a lot of growls and hisses and everything. So
keep Martha in the kitchen. Me too. I'm a neutralizer as well. Except for when I'm doing the history tour, then they like to get mouthy. But other than that, they don't like to really do much around me. My husband, very active. That's the one that gets all the activity right there. You have him, and Julie has the children. The children interact with Julie. They love Julie. Me too. Most of the time the children interact with me as well, but me and Martha mostly neutralize.
Oh, there it goes. Yeah.
They're getting ready. They're saying bye to you, Tim.
Well, I want to thank everyone for for joining tonight. I really appreciate it. And Kathy, we'll be in touch. And once again, check out Haunted Hill. Yeah, hauntedhillhouse.com.
For you to come out, Tim. I think it's gonna. Maybe you'll meet the 7 that night.
Yeah.
You met 4.
I met one of them for sure. Like, yeah.
Well, they're gonna add another 1 to that. V1 and be another one.
Yeah. Yeah.
VII, yeah. Yeah, you got a couple more marks waiting for you.
Great. Well, on that note, everyone have a good night.
Bye,
Yeah.
everybody.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.